Hello. Today I wanted to make a video talking about the value of taking care of your things, and I will be cleaning this Fjallraven Kanken that I bought for $4 and giving it a new life. It's got some holes and things, but we're gonna fix it up and make it nice and pretty. And I wanted to talk about the value of taking care of your things because it's definitely something that I've tried to get better at, learning how to mend, learning how to sew up things, and just fixing little things. Even this shirt, it has some holes in it. I've had this for probably 10 years and you could probably tell, but I love this shirt and I think there's a value in keeping things for a long time, trying to keep them nice. As my friend says, my car is like over 10 years old, and she's just like, oh, it's vintage, it's Y2K. And I was like, okay, I guess so. So those things are always coming back into vogue again, becoming cool. I think it's great to just take care of your things, learn how to take care of your things, especially with the way the economy is right now and everything being so expensive. There's a lot of value in learning how to take care of your things, not just for the time you'll save and the money you'll save from this, but also helping the environment as well. If you're interested in ideas like minimalism and finance, these are things I love to talk about that not many people in my social circle are that interested in, so I will be posting a lot of videos about that on this channel just so I can kind of get my ideas out and actually talk to people about this because it's something that really interests me. So I found this backpack for $4 at a yard sale, and then when I got home it had 35 cents in the pocket, so even cheaper than $4. This bag is a $3 65 cents Kanken, which is an amazing deal. I am gonna have to maybe just patch up a little bit on the bottom here, which is where learning how to sew comes in handy. I love these bags. They actually have a lifetime warranty. If something big happens, like the zipper fails or something, you could send them in. It does have a weird kind of smell. It kind of smells like a sauna or something, like they went into the woods with this, which is nice, but I would like it not to have a smell, so I'm going to do my own scrubbing here. And I just wanted to show you before we get into the video and thoughts and stuff. It doesn't have the cushion, but I have an extra one actually from my old Kanken. I'll show you how to clean these up, and let's talk a little bit about frugality and finances and taking care of things. Here against the white you could really see just how kind of dirty this backpack is, and hopefully we can get these out. If not, maybe we'll put a patch on it. There's some rips down there. Oh, a leaf fell out. So they definitely did take it out to the forest. And then the back it's kind of hard to see. Luckily this color hides a lot of the dirt, but definitely the top here is really dirty, and the bottom. Let's hope that we can clean this up, make it look real nice. And then I'm also going to clean this bag. This is a Y2K thing that I've had since I was, oh my goodness, like 9 years old. I'm thinking of selling it or donating it, but I don't want to donate with these stains. I think sometimes they just think it's dirty, but I think that's just literally from the age of it. I hadn't used this for years. And we'll see, if I clean it up, maybe I'll keep it, but it's definitely not a very mature look now that I'm a little older. Now, as per Fjallraven's instructions on their website, you want to get a mild detergent, and this one has a baby on it, so I thought, what's more mild than that? What's more mild than a baby sleeping? So hopefully that will work. And we're going to want some warm water and a sponge or a brush. Alright, so now we have everything kind of set up here. I'm just going to dilute some detergent in this little cup and start scrubbing. Alright, so I have this soapiness now. And this is an old toothbrush I cleaned off. I'm just going to start gently scrubbing. You don't want to go too hard or else the ink will come off, or the dye. But I think something I've come to learn from trying to be more minimalist is how much time cost is involved with owning every item that you own. There's this thing that Fumio Sasaki talks about in his book Goodbye Things, which is a really good minimalism book. But he talks about how everything you own gives you this idea of a silent to-do list. Like when you see, say, this backpack lying around for the past 2 weeks since I bought it, I think, oh man, I have to get around to cleaning that. It's not looking too good. So everything you have kind of reminds you of something you have to do, like the dishes or like the laundry. And it slowly compounds and compounds in your brain. And it takes up a lot more space than you realize. So one of the benefits of minimalism is that this to-do list kind of slowly shrinks the more you get rid of things. You don't have as much to think about and clean and dust and go over. Like if you, ew. Oh, it's a flower. Okay, good. I thought that was a fly for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, where was this backpack stored? But yeah, there's some ink stains on the front here. But slowly, as you become more minimalist, the idea is that you have less stuff to think about, to care about, and expend energy on. Like his example is if you're cleaning your house and you have a sculpture of like some kind of like an owl or something, you have to also dust that, move it around, clean under it, and then return it back. But if you get rid of that, you have one less step to think about. And I find myself thinking about this idea of a silent to-do list a lot because I do have a lot of silent to-dos. Like just with cleaning these things, I also brought my shoes to clean as well. But I do think about it. So the whole idea, for me at least, it represents kind of trying to actually just not buy the things in the first place. Only having the amount I need and the amount I'll use. Like this backpack will definitely go to good use. My other one is really dirty. But this one is clean enough that I could, well, maybe I should have dumped that out near the drain. But look how dirty that is. This one, hopefully, will clean up enough that I'll be able to take it around and take it to work and things like that and not look too shabby. The other benefit I like of these silent to-do lists is that sometimes when I'm out and about shopping or something like that, I just think, this is taking so much of my time and energy. Because to be honest, I'm not the kind of person who likes to go to a shopping mall and try clothes on. Sometimes because I just don't find things I need. But it just takes like hours of time. You have to drive there, at least living in LA, you have to drive there, pay for parking, and then you might not find anything you need, or you might feel like a pressure to buy something because, well, I drove all the way here, I'm paid for parking, and this is like my free time, my day off. I need to find like a certain kind of work shirt or something cute that I saw online, you know? And it just takes up all this time. And I thought recently to myself, well, what if I actually just have everything I need? What if I don't need anything else and I can just kind of look into what I already have and see how that would work for me? And I've just been thinking about that and along those lines. And I feel like finally I'm lucky enough to say I don't have to acquire anything else to kind of be set. I have more than enough right now, and really my goal is to downsize right now, even as I acquire new backpacks. But this kind of stuff I can always use. So yeah, just lightly scrubbing. You can see this gross dirt coming off of this bag. I'm really happy that I'm doing this today. But once you kind of try to be more minimalist, at least like mindful of shopping and acquiring things, I've like realized how much time I've been saving. Like not going to the shops, not going, you know, trying not to go to yard sales, trying not to go to church sales and things like that, and trying not to like acquire things. You have to kind of cut it off at the source. You realize how much time you save. I used to love to go thrifting in college. Oh my goodness, I would thrift like every weekend because I was trying to, you know, I thought, oh, I should build up my wardrobe and try to be more stylish, which is fine. But I feel like it's hard to be super intentional at a thrift store because you're always looking for like, you find something that you weren't expecting to find, which means you might not necessarily have needed it. Like, oh, this racing jacket is so cute. It's not my size, but I should get it because when will I ever see this again? Stores just have those treasures, but sometimes I would go in there and leave with something completely different that I did not need. So even with these secondhand stores, when you are saving the environment by, buying secondhand, trying to be eco-friendly, eco-conscious, you can also over-consume stuff at these kinds of places, and it makes it easier because it's so cheap. You're like, oh my gosh, when am I gonna find this shirt for like $3? I should just buy it because, if I don't like it, I could just donate it again. And that's fine, but not just monetarily, but with your time too. You have to come back to the store, donate it if you don't like it, or you get that time to-do list where you're like, man, I better clean this thing off. So it's definitely a challenge to try to just stick with being a little minimalist, stick with trying not to buy too much. But I think it's a good challenge because even if you're gonna go back to buying stuff next month, or if you find minimalism isn't for you, it's fun to pursue. Like, I'm not a very good minimalist. I have these influxes of, I'll just get a lot of stuff. Like recently I got a lot of stuff at a clothing swap for free, which is really nice. It's more professional clothes, which I didn't have. But I feel like, okay, I'm happy to be not very good at minimalism, because if I was not even trying at all, it would be a mess. I would be overwhelmed. I would have way too much stuff. So at least I'm trying. It's kind of like if you're vegan or vegetarian, but you're not perfect at it. Well, at least you're trying. Like, I try to have less meat or try to eat plant-based, but I wouldn't say that I'm this person who never eats meat or dairy or things like that. I think it's okay to be kind of in the middle and not that great, because it's like, well, you know what? At least you're trying. Just give it your best shot, and if you end up enjoying it and being passionate about it, I think that's awesome. So yeah, if I wasn't trying to be a minimalist, I am scared of what the result would look like. I would be even more overwhelmed with my things, and I have been trying to be a minimalist for many years, since I graduated college, but it's kind of an ongoing battle because it is actually so easy to acquire things. I think that is why you see more wealthy people with these empty houses, because that is a luxury. It's a status, right? To have nothing, to not be able to, or like to make it appear that you don't have a lot of stuff, or that you only have the nicest, most curated collection, almost like a museum, and your house is like empty. Because a lot of middle class and lower middle class families, you'll see their houses and their garages are just full of stuff. But it's true, it's almost like security, right? You don't want to throw away your perfectly good shirt if you don't know when you'll have to buy one again. Whereas if you're really wealthy, you can afford to just hop over, buy another, whatever you want. It's all disposable to you, you know? So minimalism, though, I think practicing it can be beneficial to actually help you save money. And I'm not talking about aesthetic minimalism, those empty houses that rich people have where they're just cavernous and like just appear empty. It's probably because they have a lot of storage too in those giant mansions. But like, I think minimalism can help you save so much money. And that's partially why whenever you look at the FIRE community, that financial independence, retire early, a lot of them are minimalists. It's just something that kind of happens naturally. If you're trying to save as much money as possible, naturally you're gonna probably not be able to buy things that you might even want. But for the sake of reaching financial independence, and I think that's probably how I first was introduced to minimalism, is actually through learning about financial independence. And man, financial independence is such an interesting topic to me. The idea that you can live below your means, and that can mean not buying the newest iPhone, that can mean not having the nicest stuff, and it can mean taking care of your things like we are now, to ultimately save money, to save your time in the future. Because everything you buy is paid for with your time, unless you're really good at leveraging your time for money and you have something like a passive income stream where you don't need to be working directly for money. But for a lot of us, we get paid hourly, right? Like, I get paid because I show up to work and work a certain amount of hours. So I am literally being paid for my lifetime, right? And with that, there's a really good book, Your Money or Your Life. And it kind of talks about this topic of how you really are paying with your time, with your life force is basically your time. And you can calculate the true cost of all these things that you're buying. Like, I bought this bag, say I'm making minimum wage in California, and I bought this bag for $4. This takes a fraction of an hour to buy used. But if I bought it not secondhand for like $90, oh my goodness, you know how long it would take me to make that much money? So it kind of talks about that and the value of your time in acquiring all these objects and all these things and collections, and trust me, I know, because I have a collection of Disney pins, and it's like, okay, how much are these things really costing you in terms of your time? And what people in financial independence groups have really figured out is that if you're spending on things you might not need, and we could talk about bigger things like, say, a car. If you're spending on a car that is new, oh my goodness, car notes are so expensive these days, like a $40,000 car, right? That could push your retirement back years and years because of the just amount of time it takes you to actually earn $40,000. Physical time you need to be working. Well, I do think about that a lot. It's not to be a total buzzkill, but when I go out and I am shopping, I'm thinking, you know, is this worth like 5 hours of my time after taxes? Is this worth 2 weeks of my everyday job, everyday commute? Or can I use something I already have? Can I buy this secondhand? Because it really pays in more than one way to be frugal and to limit yourself in that way. Sometimes it is nice to have that new thing, but over time, that newness fades anyway. So it could be a good idea to shop secondhand, but also shop rigorously. Like, have a checklist. Like, do I actually need this thing? Am I in the market for this thing? And if the answer is no, just passing it up. I always find myself thinking, well, I could sell it. I'll sell it on eBay or whatever, if I find something really cool. I never actually do that. Do you know how much time and effort goes into actually posting something on a site like that and then eventually getting rid of it? A lot of the times I just go, okay, I'm just gonna donate this, because no one's gonna, say someone paid me $20 on eBay. After the fees, after the shipping, after the time I have to spend driving all the way to the post office, and then post offices, oh my goodness, don't even get me started on the lines in there. It is like Zootopia, DMV, sloth energy. Like, they're so overworked. It's crazy how busy they are here. Am I gonna do all that? At the end of the day, my profit is gonna be about $5 or less. Is it worth it? And sometimes when you're trying to minimize, it's just better to let that stuff go. Or else it will just sit in a to sell pile for the next 2 years, like a lot of my stuff has. I definitely recommend just letting go of like some of the lower stuff, or having a garage sale. Oh my gosh. Garage sales have been an amazing way for me to get rid of stuff, because you get paid right there, you know, eBay people expect you to kind of be like Amazon. If they don't like something, they can just ask to return it, which is fine. But you're the one who has to eat the shipping costs. You're the one who has to go back and, you know, pick the item up from the post office or whatever. It's just a whole kind of pain. I commend people who do it, but sometimes if you're just trying to get rid of things, it's better to give it to your friends, have a garage sale, sell it for a couple bucks. That's really all you're gonna get. And I saw this video recently from, I forgot their name, but they said nobody wants your stuff when you're minimizing, right? At the end of the day, you paid a lot for this stuff, but once you own it, no one really wants it. No one wants your old stuff. This has exceptions, like if you have cool Pokemon cards or something, people probably want that. But no one really wants the t-shirt you've been wearing for the past 10 years from like a free tech fair, you know? And it's just okay to give that stuff away and not try to get the most value out of things like that. Just giving it away. All right, watch how dirty this is. It's hard to tell, but this sweater is yellow. But you never ever want to put one of these backpacks in the washing machine. It just totally ruins like the structural integrity of the fabric itself, and these are made of really great durable fabric, so yeah, you don't want to do that. Also, a little tip to know, if your Fjallraven is indeed real, if you're thrifting or you want to find one secondhand, if you look at the clips here, you're going to come in here and flip them on the other side, and there's this little WJ. So usually the fake ones will not have this WJ. They won't be branded like that. They'll just probably say like China, or they won't have anything on it, but the real ones have this. So if you're looking for one secondhand, that's how you know, that's the tell. And yeah, I love the real ones, they just last a lot longer. Alright, this is how nasty everything got. I'm gonna throw out this leaf, but if you want to see how gross, ew, so I'm gonna throw this down, and then, wow, that was really dirty. That's a lot. I'm just gonna clean off the workspace and we can start again. I definitely recommend doing this kind of cleaning in the bathtub, because then you could just go around and do your bathtub cleaning chores as well that day. Alright, hey, you can see me. Okay, new starting point. So now I have this one, and it has some discoloration here. I figured I might as well clean it, see if I want to keep it. Hopefully there's nothing inside of here. If I decide not to, gotta take this off. How cute is that, little crocheted cherries? I just thought, you know, if you donate it or try to sell it, but especially if you donate it, someone's gonna see it and say, eh, it's dirty, I don't want it. Might as well maybe like make it a little cleaner so that at least it'll go to good use. Let's just do some light scrubbing. Ooh, it's already looking like it's coming off just from that. So that is a good sign. Wow, look at that. That was easy. On taking care of your things, I found that a lot of things that I thought were, oh, this is dirty, I should donate this, or these shoes, maybe I should get new ones, these are pretty dirty. I found that if you learn how to take care of your things and actually mend them and repair them, you're gonna find that you spend a lot less money. An example of this is my Patagonia jacket. I made a whole video dyeing it a different color. But for years I had really been interested in getting a Patagonia, like a black Patagonia. It's just really in, really cool and hip, and you know, they last forever. It's a sustainable brand. I'm stuttering. It's a sustainable brand, you know, so I thought, wow, that'd be so nice, but they are pretty expensive. Then at a thrift store, my friend found a green one. It's actually a kid's Patagonia, but I fit it, luckily. It was too small for him, so he gave it to me. It was about $30. I can see why they donated it, right? Thrift stores have crazy pricing, by the way, today. That's a whole nother video. But it's $30, and it was kind of stained. It had all these weird oil stains, and it's probably a kid's jacket, so it was not treated with much care in that regard. It was pretty on its last legs in terms of the aesthetics of the jacket. But I thought, hey, you know what if I can just put some time into this, put a little care into it, and see if I could turn it into that jacket I've always wanted. So I dyed it, and I have a video on how to dye your clothes, your jackets, and actually some people dye their clothes, like they re-dye their clothes or change them to black once they've kind of reached their limit so that they could have a new life. I thought that was the most clever thing. And the jacket turned out so well. I wear it all the time now. It looks so nice and clean, and I'm really happy with it. And just doing little DIYs like that, where you can save money and also save the environment and save something from going into the landfill, it's so rewarding. It's honestly so much fun. I was really happy with the results. And now I love and cherish that jacket even more. Things like that, I've gotten really into just fixing it up, fixing things I own up, and like mending them, and just fixing the little imperfections. And I find this process really rewarding. Sure, it takes a little bit more time, but shopping also takes a lot of time and money. So it could be worth it just to do it yourself. And it's almost meditative, right? Like cleaning things and making them new again, it can become really relaxing. That's at least how I felt a little bit when I was doing that Patagonia jacket, but I did overfeel like when I was boiling it, you have to boil it in water like to get the dye to set in, because it's a synthetic fabric, and that part was not that relaxing, to be honest, because there's all this boiling water everywhere. It's kind of dangerous. Yeah, this is cleaning up well. I got it when I was really small, and I didn't use it when I was back then. And now I've started using it again when I'm older. It's a kind of crazy bag to be walking around with, but you know what they say is Y2K vintage. That's the interesting thing about being in your 20s too. I always hear this is the best decade of your life for investing. This is the best decade of your life for doing that kind of stuff. Which is, it's hard because you also want to balance that with living your life, doing fun things. It can be challenging when you're also thinking about being frugal. Personally, I just would be interested in being financially independent. When you're 20, you just hear, this is actually the best time for you to pursue those things because of compound interest. So it does make you want to just save in some ways, and then you can kind of splurge in other ways. Like my whole goal for really saving the money I make, or saving money in ways like this, like cleaning my shoes, is that I really would like to travel. I have this dream that I'm gonna go to Japan and just hang out there. I want to go so badly. I want to go back to Japan. I would like to just experience the culture there again, go eat some really good food there. That's my dream. So I'm being frugal in some ways so that I could splurge in other ways, and splurge in ways that are important to me. Do I need to be wearing like the cleanest shoes every day? Well, that's the thing about going in an office. It kind of is important to look good, but am I going to be buying new shoes to wear? No, probably not. So maybe I could just clean these ones up. You know what I mean? So if I could save in the little ways to spend in big ways that really make an impact for my life, then I'm going to do that. It can be challenging though to keep it up because of your environment really determines how you'll be. I have about one frugal friend. The rest of my friends, they're not really very interested in hearing about all this financial independence, frugality, minimalism, sustainability, and that's okay. That's kind of why I'm talking about it on this channel, and why I'm interested in talking about it with you guys, is because no one really wants to hear what I'm trying to say. It definitely is like a niche interest, right? It's a lot easier not to think about these things when you're younger, to just think that money is meant to be spent and that's all there is to it. That's the fun way and that's the easy way. But it is, to me, really fun and interesting to learn about frugality and financial independence, and to like try to practice these things that I'm learning. And I think minimalism too challenges you in a way to really think about who you are and what you value and what you want to do with your time. Because ultimately, money is just your time, right? How you spend your time, how you make your money, it all coincides. And I don't want to spend my time just trying to make money to buy things. I'm not that interested in keeping up with appearances, maybe as much as I should be. So it does, your environment really does impact it. I mean, I know I grew up in LA, and even over the past few years, I've seen it become more and more kind of image obsessed. Like with social media, people really go out and buy things to take photos with it, or to look a certain way online. Now that it's not even like the people at your work to see, or the people around town or at your school. It's hundreds of people, thousands of people online can see you. And so there's just a lot about image now. And I think that's fine, but there's just a lot of emphasis on things that I don't really care too much about, but maybe I should. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on image and buying things to keep up. An example of this would be my car. I drive a very old Prius, right? That my friends say Y2K, right? But a lot of my friends recently are moving up, quote unquote, buying really expensive cars. And that's fine, that's what they value, right? They want to have expensive cars. But you have to factor in the true cost of buying something like that. It is not just your monthly payment. You know, it's not just the $400 a month. Actually, their monthly payment's more like $900 a month. And I told them, please don't do this because it's going to cost a lot more than you think to own this car. But anyways, they do what they want. But that was my advice. I said, this is a bad idea. So I have friends buying really expensive cars, right? Like $50,000 cars. And I get it because I love cool cars. I think they're so awesome. But at the end of the day, you are sitting in traffic with everyone else in LA, or you're having to pay really expensive repair bills for newer cars or cars that are more unique. And if you're only making $50,000 a year, you can't afford a $50,000 car, right? The math just doesn't work out. So then you get these huge loans at really high interest rates, because that's the environment we're in right now. And suddenly your $50,000 car, or was a $30,000 car, is going to be $50,000, or it's going to be like $60,000 by the time you're done. And that's not a loan that you can just get rid of. It's just something that is going to be with you for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So you really have to decide, is this worth it? Is looking cool worth it? Or am I okay with sitting in traffic in an old Toyota? And for me, I'm okay with that because ideally I don't want to trade that time for having a cool car. I would love a cool car, but it's not in the books right now. I cannot afford it. So there's all these little trade-offs in life, and you know, my friend who got the really cool car, which is awesome, but just way too expensive. They were like, I would never be seen dead driving a Prius. I said, well, I own this car. I paid it off. You know, you could say what you want about it, but I don't have any monthly payments. My monthly payments are 0, not 1,000. So it was playful jesting, but I was like, well, you could say my car is this box, whatever, but at the end of the day, I own it. I'm a proud owner of this box, and I love it. So you have to be okay with people questioning what you're doing, or looking down on you for having certain things and not having other things, and you have to be all right with that. And that can be hard, not gonna lie. I'm like, of course it would be cool to have a cool hot car and driving around in a hot rod or whatever. Of course that'd be awesome. But is it in the budget? No. And at the end of the day, I don't have that headache of having to worry about expensive repairs, having to worry if someone dings my car door, having to worry about, you know, whatever. It's just too expensive right now, because the thing with cars too is their cost is recurring. You fix one thing, next week you might need to fix something else. And if you get a car that is very expensive to fix, say you get like a German car, expensive parts, then every time you have a repair, instead of being a cheap repair like a Toyota, where they made millions of these, sold millions of them, and they're pretty reliable, and if you have a more unique car, everything is going to be multiplied by that expensive price. It's not getting any cheaper than that. It's just going to keep going up and up and up. Just something to think about. Does that mean one day I don't want to be driving some cool car around? No, if I could afford it, I'd love to, but it's easy to overestimate what you can, like, quote unquote afford, right? Because just because you can make the monthly payments doesn't mean you can afford it. So that's my little rant, because I'm gonna make a full video about that actually. I think buying a very expensive car when you're young is like one of the biggest financial mistakes you can make, because it's just so much money, you don't realize how much, whatever. But yay, look at that, this is making a lot of progress. I should probably spray the shoes with some hydrogen peroxide, but I'm scared to mix all the, I'm just gonna keep it with the detergent for now, I'm not sure. You never wanna mix too many chemicals. or else you create toxic fumes, which is not something I'm going for today. But I'm just really happy with how white that turned out already. And when it dries, I'm hoping the fabric looks a little better. I could probably spray it with something, but I'll just leave it for now. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you have any frugal habits that you like to do? Do you find that you have like frugal friends, and have you learned from them, or are most of your friends not frugal? You know, are you the kind of odd one out? And I'm a little like that. Everyone thinks like it's a little goofy, some of the things I do to save money, but I think they're okay. I mean, hopefully they just find it endearing. You don't want to be cheap. That's the thing. There's a difference between being cheap and being frugal. Being cheap is like when you don't really understand the value of a dollar, or like you take it too far, in a sense. Detrimental, I find. Like, you know that show, Extreme Cheapskates? It's like when people kind of miss the whole point. It's like, okay, you're saving money, but, you know, at what cost are you saving this money? But being frugal is more being, like, I find it as something like being sensible with money, being strategic with money. Because at the end of the day, like in our modern kind of world, the way the world is set up, money is survival. Money is freedom. Money allows you to do all these things to stay healthy, to stay alive. Like if you have to pay for healthcare, like that is, you're gonna need money to do that. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's set up. So it's a tool, but you don't want to be cheap. You don't want to not have friends because you won't ever go out, or you won't pay for things, or you know, you don't want to miss the whole point. Money at the same time is just a tool to get you to where you want to go. A lot of things are more important than money, and you don't want to lose that fact as well. So it's all about balancing. Don't be a cheapskate, but you know, clean your shoes in the bathtub if you can. Life is just a nice fine balance. Wow, this is already looking way better. I have to show you this. Look at that. No more yellow stains from like old age. Just looks so great. So yeah, sometimes you don't need to buy new. You might just need to refresh what you already own, because what you have might already be more than enough. I'm gonna dump this out. Look how gross that water got. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be living on like some kind of farm or something in 10 years. I don't know. But this is looking better already. Look how clean. They're so white. That is nice. But the fabric's great. It kind of gives it all away. Ooh, that was gross. Really dirty. This is kind of my gardening tool, this like little bucket thing, so it's working well. Everything has, see, a multi-purpose. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please let me know. I'll be making more content. I'll show you the final results once all this stuff is dry too. But I'd love to know your comments, your thoughts on frugal living, saving money, maybe your journey of minimalism in general, where it is, where you want it to be. My ultimate goal is to kind of have just enough stuff that I could easily move with, you know, just my car, not having to hire a moving van or anything like that. Or even, this would be crazy, but just enough stuff that I could move across the country without needing any kind of special assistance. Just moving like via airplane or shipping a few boxes or something like that. Growing up in LA, living here my entire life mostly, except for college when I went up to the Bay Area, it has really kind of made me want to explore other places. And goodness, I see videos of people becoming minimalists and, you know, oh, my minimalism journey, moving to Europe, moving somewhere else. And it does get you thinking, like, oh, selling all my stuff, moving somewhere, kind of sounds fun, kind of sounds interesting. So, you know, you can't do that if you're burdened and held down by your stuff. So the first step for me is just kind of getting rid of this stuff, seeing where I could go, and then once I get rid of it, who knows, could be fun to move somewhere new, somewhere exciting. But yeah, do you find that your stuff is holding you back? because I do find that my stuff is holding me back sometimes. I just think, you know, my apartment would be a lot cleaner. I'd have less, my apartment would be cleaner. I'd have less stuff to clean all the time if I just got rid of some of this stuff. What is all this stuff? Why do I have like 50 dishes? Who needs that many dishes? Like maybe a family of 7. So just let me know in the comments. Is this like only me that is like thinking about these things, or what? So I'm gonna scrub my bathtub now because it got really gross, and I'll see you at the final review. It's been a few days now, and I'm ready to show you the final results of the dry stuff. Here we go. Wow, that looks brand new. I was able to get rid of a lot of that, the staining and things that were on that front pocket. I love that the detail kind of pops out more on these handles as well. And here in the back too, the straps are looking great. I love this design. It's really, really nice. You can tell they put a lot of time into making this. And it just looks so much cleaner overall. I'm still gonna have to patch up these little holes in the bottom, but I'm gonna do some research on the best way to do that, the best kind of embroidery floss or whatever to use. And yeah, I'm just so happy with this. This backpack is gonna last me a really long time, so I'm very excited to be able to use something like this. And yeah, how cute! Very, very nice. So totally a win. Final result, success. Now we have our other bag. This one is not a complete success. It seems like I cleaned all the parts that were dirty, but the yellow parts just remain, so now they kind of pop out even more, which is kind of gross. So I might try to OxyClean this. If that doesn't work, this might have to be donated or dyed, kind of like my Patagonia. But I'm not sure how that would fare with the designs, and they are super cute. So I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. I have seen vintage accounts kind of getting these yellow age stains out with OxyClean, and maybe that will work. But yeah, it's such a cute bag, so I would hate to see it go to waste. But you know what? We tried, and that's what matters. These are the shoes, and wow, they look great. These are not dry, so it's actually very gross and uncomfortable to be holding these because I just hate that feeling, but they're like soggy kind of sponges. But wow, that's nice. The leather parts cleaned up really well, and then the other parts, like fabric parts, didn't really as much, but I didn't really apply any kind of product to them. I might apply some maybe hydrogen peroxide or something like that when I get the chance, but for now these are a lot cleaner than they were, so I'm really happy with the results, and I'm gonna just keep it like this for now. It hasn't been very sunny in Los Angeles, unfortunately, and I was hoping the sun would kind of bake them and make them a little bit more bright, but it has not been sunny, so not the best time to do this kind of stuff. But I'm really happy to be able to save things from just going into the landfill sooner, because I feel like when you donate stuff, you're not exactly sure also where it's going to end up. You know, they could end up just tossing it out if it's not fit for the store, and I feel like I could just get some use out of it. You know, I paid for it, I bought it, I should just try to use it a little bit more and stretch out its lifetime, which has been very cool. And I've been watching a lot of documentaries recently on fashion and, you know, its impact on our environment, and environmental documentaries, and it's really opened my eyes to the effects of buying things brand new, and it really makes me want to be more intentional with my money, not just from a financial perspective, but also just from a planet perspective of trying to save as many resources as possible if I don't necessarily need an object, and going for that less but better kind of vibe. I find it very interesting, and I love doing these thrift flips and restoring items. Thank you for watching, and if you want to check out this Patagonia thrift flip, I'll leave a link in the bio, or I'll put it right here. But yeah, very cool.